pregame.com.
There's only one FBS game this weekend, and it's getting a ton of action. This is Brad Powers in the pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip. We're talking one of my favorite games of the whole year, Army versus Navy.
Go Army, beat Navy. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take Army. That's right, we're taking Army plus the points here. And what we have is Army with a massive situational edge. Let's talk about Army's last month. 3 weeks ago, they were playing an FCS team. In that game, they crushed that FCS team by more than 50 points. Then they had a bye. Then last week, another bye. And obviously, they've been preparing for Navy all this week. So basically, for the last 4 weeks, they've been thinking, game planning, one thing and one thing only. It's go Army, beat Navy. We're taking Army plus the points.
Contrast that with Navy. They were in a conference championship game just last week. They got their butts kicked by Temple. Surely that puts them in a bad spot this week, right?
It does. A unique spot as well because they've never played in a conference championship game before. So they've always had a bye prior to Army, just like what Army's seen here. And plus, Navy's playing an 8 straight week. Wasn't supposed to be the case. They were supposed to have a bye on November the 19th. Didn't because a game got moved back because of a hurricane. Then they were supposed to have a bye last week. Instead, we're playing in a championship game. Horrible spot for Navy here.
Now, of course, Army has lost 14 straight games to the Navy. Any concerns?
No, not so much because let's break it down, those 14. You have a tale of 2 parts. First 7 games of that win streak, Navy was clearly the better team. They outscored Army by 29 points per game, outgained them by nearly 200 yards per game. The last 7 recently, Army's really closed the gap. They're 5-2 against the number. They're only getting outgained by 3 yards per game, and there have been several to-the-wire one-possession performances where they could have won but just didn't make the plays late.
And some very big injuries for Navy, right?
Yeah, that leads me to my second main handicap. Let's talk about these injuries for Navy. Lost their quarterback for the year last week in that championship game against Temple. Also lost their top slot back for the year in that game. Not getting enough play in the markets. And another thing that's not getting enough play, you look at Navy, people forget they were already playing with a second-string quarterback. He's played so well that people forgot about that. And plus, this quarterback, prior to last week, hadn't even thrown a single pass all season long, now making his first start.
Now, I can just hear the naysayers. Oh, Brad Powers has taken plus 6.5 on a game that opened plus 10. He's getting no line value. But I'll come over the top. Game of the year market here in Vegas back in October, Army was only getting plus 2. So from that perspective, you're getting 4.5 extra points.
Yeah, and keep in mind the line got inflated during the month of November. I mean, Navy was hot as can be. They only punted twice in a 4-game stretch. But the team that's going to take the field is more reflective of what we saw last week against Temple when they lost by 24 on their home field, not the team that was so hot in November.
To make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We're going to take Army plus the points. Army has a massive situational edge in this one. They're off 2 byes. Meanwhile, Navy's off a high-intensity, high-stakes championship game. Plus, Navy's down to their 3rd-string quarterback making his first start. The betting markets haven't adjusted for it accordingly yet. Add it up, Army covers. More videos at pregame.com.